Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror science fiction film called BRIGHTBURN. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie for explicit horror adopts the concept of what if Superman was evil. The movie depicts that sometimes we humans tend to overlook things because of one's circumstances or situation. Even though intentions are pure, they might lead to severe consequences for humanity. BRIGHTBURN is a fictional story of a family where a couple is trying to conceive a baby for a long time but fails. One day, a spaceship cubicle just drops next to their home carrying a baby. They take it as a blessing. The little boy becomes the most important part of their lives, and they do everything to give him a normal human life. Yet destiny leads him on the evil path. A kid, after realizing his unmatched powers, starts the ultimate destruction and the conquest to rule the world. The movie starts with a couple, Kyle Breyer and Tori Breyer, caught in their private moment and suddenly disturbed by the explosion outside their home. The movie showcases the love and care Brandon gets from his parents, especially depicting the closeness between the little boy and the mother. In the next scene, we see that 12 years have passed, and now we see that Tori is trying to seek Brandon, who is hiding in the barn and responding to a whistle. This portrays the bond between the mother and the son. Brandon is exceptionally intelligent for his age and admired by his teachers for his high IQ and knowledge. But for some reason, he is not liked by most of his classmates, who can be seen mocking him. Caitlin, who admires Brandon, tells him not to bother himself with the bullies. During school hours, Brandon keeps himself busy drawing some sort of sign signifying Brandon Breyer. The same day during the night, while Brandon is sleeping, there is some sort of paranormal activity happening in the barn. Meanwhile, the boy starts shaking uncontrollably in a possessed manner in his sleep. Suddenly, he gets up from his bed and jumps off from the window. Tori, who is keenly busy painting, understands something is off. She starts searching for Brandon, whom she shockingly finds inside the barn seemingly possessed, reciting something in an unclear language with a sketchy voice while trying to open a wooden floor door restlessly, like he is getting drawn to something inside that door, but soon regains his consciousness. The very next day, Brandon goes to mow the lawn, where the mower starts malfunctioning. While restarting the mower, Brandon accidentally throws away the mower hundreds of feet behind him. Surprised, Brandon goes near the mower and tries to test his superpower by stopping the mower cutter with his bare hand. By doing so, he ends up destroying the mower without getting a single cut on his hand. In the next scene, we see the Breyer family celebrating his birthday in a local restaurant, accompanied by Kyle's close friend Noah and his wife Marilee. Both of them treat Brandon as their child and praise him for scoring good marks in his exam. Meanwhile, Noah surprises everyone by gifting a 12-year-old Brandon a hunting rifle. Kyle outrightly rejects the gift. To everyone's shock, Brandon reacts in a revolting manner while protesting the opinion of his father. Kyle immediately tells Brandon and Tori to move out of the place while trying to pull Brandon with his arm, but he fails to move his arm even by an inch. Tori, with a glaring look, tells Brandon to get into his senses, and the family quickly storms out of the restaurant. But things seem to be at ease once Tori and Kyle discuss the matter at home. The next day, while getting ready for a family outing, Kyle notices that Brandon is biting the fork. Meanwhile, while cleaning Brandon's room, Tori finds out weird pictures of human body parts among the pages of a porn magazine inside Brandon's sleep mattress. That day, they spend the night in a camp in the woods. During midnight, Tori is awakened by the absence of Brandon next to her and starts looking out for him. Meanwhile, Brandon is at Caitlin's house trying to scare her with paranormal acts. Brandon gets back to the camp spot just in time. Next, we see during one of the nights Kyle's sleep is disturbed by rattling chicken noise. He gets up and immediately goes to check what the matter is. By then, all the chickens were dead. Kyle immediately wakes Tori and brings her to see the horrific event. Tori and Kyle argue over the event by taking sides. Tori suggests it was the wolf, but Kyle tells her it was Brandon. However, Tori does not pay heed to his reasoning. Brandon's abuse of power and evil intentions starts to come out in the open. For instance, while playing a trust game, Caitlin lets him fall, saying he is a pervert. Brandon crushes her hand without thinking of the consequences. Caitlin's mom, Erica, asks the local sheriff and the principal to arrest Brandon, instead of just suspending him. Tori and Erica get into a heated argument, and again Tori stands for Brandon. Tori and Kyle discuss what's happening around them, and both start to agree that things are not normal around Brandon. He has not bled or bruised once in his life, and now he has started to hurt people. During the night, a red light illuminates the side of the barn, which is visible to Tori directly through the window. She immediately runs to the barn and notices that Brandon is floating in the air just above the open floor door while reciting some words repeatedly. Tori runs towards Brandon, but he falls into a cubicle structure and gets a cut on his hand from a piece of iron mounted on one side of the machine, which seems to be some kind of spaceship. Brandon gets back to his senses and asks his mother who he is. Parallelly, we are shown some sort of flying machine which seems not to belong to this world. After seeing the machine, Brandon asks Tori where he came from, to which Tori responds he is just different from the other kids. She explains to Brandon that before he came into their lives, they prayed for a baby for a very long time, but failed to conceive one. But one night, they got blessed and Brandon arrived next to their home in that spaceship. Brandon gets disappointed with the new revelations. After a while, Brandon goes out reciting words in an unknown language, but this time consciously. Finally, he translates them, quoting "Take the world," and he starts shooting a laser out of his eyes. It seems like the power has awakened, and now the conquest will begin. Next, we see Erica, who is working in the restaurant during the closing hours, notices that someone has drawn signs all over the glass windows. She calls out if someone is messing with her. Soon the lights above her start flickering. When she looks up and starts noticing the lights carefully, a tube light shatters on her face and a piece of glass pierces through her left eye. She starts breathing heavily and panics. She tries to hide in a storage room, but soon the door is shattered by an extremely powerful entity who is none other than Brandon, who is now wearing a red mask. Erica's death or whereabouts stays mysterious. Police couldn't find her body, but the sheriff soon notices the signs on the glass windows on the crime scene. Brandon has now started treating himself as superior to other beings on the planet. He has become someone who takes whatever he wants, and if someone wishes or tries to stop him from doing so, they soon meet their brutal end. We can see him justifying his actions while talking to his Marilee in a therapy session by saying sometimes things happen to people for a good reason. While Marilee tries to get into details, she unknowingly starts triggering Brandon at the end of the therapy session. Next, we see Brandon approaching Marilee in the night in a sneaky way, while Noah and Kyle are hanging out with their other friends. He warns Marilee that reporting to the sheriff won't be safe for her. Marilee tells him that reporting is a part of her job as a counselor in school, and also tells Brandon to go back to his mom and that they can talk in the morning. Brandon instead chooses to haunt and kill his aunt. Lucky for her, Noah reaches just in time. Brandon hides in the closet but gets caught by Noah. He forces Brandon to get in the truck, but Brandon uses his laser power to throw him badly on the garage door. Noah gets into his car and tries to escape, but unfortunately, his car stops working and Brandon catches up to him on the road in the middle of the woods. He cannot believe his eyes when he sees Brandon is just floating in the air a few feet away from his car wearing the stained red mask. Brandon wastes no time to his power. He takes the car up in the air vertically and then throws it straight down, jolting Uncle Noah's jaw and splitting it open on the steering wheel in a brutal manner. In just a few seconds, Noah gets unconscious. Brandon gazes at Noah in an intimidating manner and again draws the same sign on the road using Noah's blood in the car. At the same time, the screenplay goes back to Kyle and Tori, who could be seen panicking and rambling because they cannot find Brandon in their house. Brandon is suddenly back and tells them that he was playing soccer all this while. On being asked what happened to his clothes, he responds by saying his other classmates were pushing him and tripping him on the ground while laughing. This shows that although he has all the power of being called an evil Superman, he still tries hard to project a good image of himself. He quickly tries to close the topic by saying that he is tired and wants to sleep, but Kyle and Tori grow highly suspicious of him. Kyle even accepts that Brandon is an alien and that they should have done something about it a long time ago instead of just taking him as a blessing by God. While sleeping, Kyle gets flashbacks of the day when they found the spaceship in their backyard. Though he is in his present state of mind, he sees Tori holding a baby standing next to a fallen spaceship cubicle. She turns back at him and tells him joyfully that we tried for so long to have a baby, and they have a boy now. At present, Tori gets a call from Marilee from the hospital. Kyle and Tori reach the hospital and console Marilee. Marilee herself is in utter shock, yet she asks them how Brandon is and if he got back home okay, and ends up telling them that Brandon was actually at her place. Kyle and Tori get back home in the morning, where Brandon is having his breakfast as if nothing happened. They announce Noah's death, to which Brandon says okay. She tries to make him understand the sudden non-existence of the human who was an important part of their family. Brandon simply responds, saying, "It feels like you want me to cry." This just shows how cold-hearted Brandon has become with the realization of his godly powers. Kyle reveals to him that they are aware he went to meet Marilee last night. They further ask him if he knows what happened to Noah, to which he responds he doesn't know what happened to Uncle Noah, and he will never hurt him since he loves him. During the intense discussion, Brandon ends up pushing Kyle on the wall, which shocks both of them. Kyle starts to get highly suspicious of Brandon's behavior and resorts to searching Brandon's room for some evidence while he takes a bath. He eventually finds the t-shirt which Brandon wore yesterday and still has bloodstains of Noah. Kyle discusses with Tori what he just found. Instead of believing Kyle, Tori blames Kyle for making a tough situation for their 12-year-old kid. Meanwhile, the sheriff has understood that Caitlin's and Noah's mysterious cases are related. The next day, Kyle takes Brandon for a day trip to hunt in the woods. Meanwhile, the sheriff drops by their farmhouse and asks Tori what that signature means. Though she says no, but soon recognizes the sign. Tori searches Brandon's room and finds the sketch notebook. Meanwhile, Kyle and Brandon take a walk inside the woods where Brandon notices the tracks left by some animal and starts taking a closer look without noticing that Kyle is aiming at him. Parallelly, Tori can see the same sign drawn all over the notebook that the sheriff just showed to her. She gets anxious and seems unable to believe what she sees in his notebook. On the other side, Kyle takes a shot with his rifle. Unfortunately, the bullet fails to penetrate Brandon's skin, and now Kyle seems to be in trouble for such an attempt. Kyle tries to run, but Brandon catches him and burns his head with his laser beams. Tori tries to reach Kyle, and in a panicked state of mind, she starts telling him the new findings just when the call connects. Once she completes her findings, Brandon responds from the other side. The very next moment, we can see Tori is in trouble and is being chased by Brandon inside her house at a powerful speed. She tries to call 911 but fails to tell them anything. Anyhow, the police arrive at her residence. This results in both police officers dying brutally. We hear the same whistle which we heard at the beginning of the movie, but this time, instead of playing a game, Brandon is chasing his mom, trying to kill her. While trying to escape from the house, she gets a bruise on her palm, which reminds her of the time when Brandon was sleepwalking and got a cut on his hand from the mounted iron part of the spaceship kept in the barn. She starts running towards the barn while Brandon is still haunting her. She takes a piece of the iron from the spaceship and starts calling out to her son with the intention to kill him once he is close. The whistle game starts and we see Brandon come to her. She cools him down and removes his mask. She tries to remind him that there is still good inside him and hugs him. But the moment she tries to backstab him, he grabs her hand and takes her up in the sky and drops her to die from the height. He looks straight into her eyes without a pinch of regret or sympathy. In the end, we get to see a plane coming towards Brandon, followed by news in the next scene where news of a plane crash can be seen. We further see destruction across the globe by an unknown powerful entity. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your fun for today.